We will go into our Pick 4 segment. D-Man, you struggled last week. You were 0-4.
Dave.
I was 3-1. Uh-oh. The Saints fan, yep. All right. We're going to begin with the Browns. So the Chargers are 1.5-point favorites at home against the Browns. Who you have, D-Man?
Well, before we continue, Dave, part of my 0-4 was I took the Vikings plus the 2 against the Browns at home. Lost that, but in my work for WTM 1100, I went off of the game and I took the under for the Browns-Vikings. The number was 52 or 52 and a half, and I took the under, and the total wound up being 21. So I was so happy with myself, but then I looked and I saw that I had lost with you on the actual game. So terrible week. I'm struggling immensely. As far as this game goes, I don't want to be accused of being a Debbie Downer with the Browns, but I don't like this matchup. I didn't like this matchup before the season started. I certainly don't like it now, given how good the Chargers have looked, given how good Justin Herbert is, and it's in their place. And on top of that, Baker Mayfield being as shaky as he was against Minnesota has me nervous enough to take the Chargers here.
I'm going to go with the Browns. 1.5 points. I could see the Chargers winning by a point, but I just have a feeling they're coming off a short week. They played Monday night. I know the Browns have to travel cross country, 3,000 miles and all that stuff. I actually think Baker Mayfield's going to end up having a big game. There, I said it. The Chargers' run defense is not good. It's pretty bad, although it was much better against the Raiders. I think the Browns, they're going to win the game. I think it's going to be a close game. It may come down to a last-second field goal. I've been really surprised in a pleasant way about Chase McLaughlin. So I'm going to go Browns plus 1.5. All right, take us through Packers -3 at the Bengals. Who do you like in that one?
I like the Packers. They obviously rebounded nicely from their debacle in week 1 against the Saints in Jacksonville. They've won the next 3. And the Bengals are plucky and interesting and 3-1, but they haven't played anybody on the caliber of the Packers. And so I think that Aaron Rodgers will perform well. I don't think that Burrow will stink up the joint by any stretch, but I think Rodgers and the Packers, too much of a seasoned winner to stub their toe at Cincinnati.
Yeah, I can certainly understand that. All right, Broncos at the Steelers. Steelers a 1-point favorite against Denver.
I don't know why Vegas doesn't do me any favors and make the Steelers this massive underdog, because everybody, including me, is watching them seemingly, careening off a cliff, and we're happy about it, at least those of us who aren't traitors to the Northeast Ohio, born and bred, and suddenly became Steelers fans just because the Browns were bad. But I'm nonetheless, I'm going to look at this and go, Denver is due for a market correction. They got one, or they were due. They got one against the Ravens, and now they got to travel to Pittsburgh. The Steelers can't possibly be as bad as they've shown. Maybe they can, but I still think they can't possibly be as bad as this. So I'm going with this. All the Steelers have to do is remember they went into Orchard Park and beat the Bills in the opener. They should be good enough to beat Denver.
All right, speaking of those Bills at Chiefs, the Sunday night game. Chiefs 2.5-point favorites at home in Arrowhead.
I love the Chiefs here. I really do. I think the Chiefs are tired of hearing about how the Bills are on the ascent, and the Bills are, the Bills have been there, and they were last year's AFC Championship game participants, but you hear a lot more love, it seems, for the Bills than you do for the Chiefs these days. And so I think that the Chiefs are itching to take it to the Bills, and I think they will.
All right, so I went 3-1 last week, 7-9 overall. I'm going to go Saints minus 1.5 at the Washington football team. I think Sean Payton finds a way to get the win, and they're going to win by at least 3. Washington's offense has not been good since Fitzpatrick has gone out, and I don't expect it to miraculously get good against a pretty good New Orleans defense. I'm going to take the Titans minus 4 at the Jaguars, and I know people are going, the Titans lost to the Jets. And yeah, I know. But have you seen what's going on in Jacksonville? I mean, I'm taking the Titans plus 4, and if they do anything other than hand the ball to Derrick Henry, I'm going to go, what are you doing? Just keep giving the ball to Derrick Henry. He needs to get 30 carries, because if he ends up with 30 carries, he's over 200 yards against Jacksonville. I'm going to go Titans minus 4. And then I did this last week, and it didn't work out so well. My one loss was the Rams and the Cardinals. I'm taking the 49ers plus 5.5 against the Cardinals. I'm going to keep running into that Cardinals aren't this good brick wall until I finally break through. But I think even if it's Trey Lance, especially if it's Trey Lance, I think the 49ers offense finds a way, and I just don't see the Cardinals being – I know they're the only unbeaten team. I know Kyler Murray is really good. I just don't think the Cardinals are that good. They could win this game. I don't think they're winning it by more than a field goal. So I'm going to go 49ers plus 5.5.
Dave, let me go back to your Jacksonville pick. The Jacksonville situation is so toxic right now for Herb. Herb has lost it completely. I'm amazed that he was not fired. That is maybe the Jacksonville owner didn't want to pay him on the way out the door, pay to get rid of him. But it's stunning to me that Herb has not been booted. And now that he's retained, now that he remains, you're hearing reports from his players who are like laughing at him. They're not taking him seriously at all. So what you see on the field from the Jaguars could be one of two things. It could be we're going to win in spite of Herb, and we're going to really play great football, or we're going to lay down or make business decisions until we force ownership's hand to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, and either one, yeah. All right. D-Man, appreciate as always the D-Man Dennis Manoloff. You can listen to him 1100 News Radio WTAM 106.9 as well. D-Man, as always, appreciate the time and the insight. We'll see where we sit on our picks after this week. As always, have a good one, D-Man. Appreciate it.
Entertainment purposes only, Dave. Thank goodness.
Thanks, Dave.